which Hindu deity is strengthens which chakra, which Hindu deity is good for which chakra. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Bhishma Devi, and I speak all things Kundalini Awakening. I'm a Kundalini Awakening facilitator and teacher, and I teach all things chakras and yin and yang balance. Okay, so which Hindu deity is good for strengthening which chakra? So I'm going to start with the crown chakra. So for the crown chakra, it's all the deities. Okay, it doesn't matter which form, which spirit guide, which Hindu or not, but all spiritual deities or connections or nature, Mother Gaia, source, whatever it is that you want to call it. Okay, all connection to source energy, that is crown chakra. So you can, if you're a Hindu, you can, if you're meditating on any of the deities or chanting any of the mantras, then that automatically activates the crown chakra. Okay, meditation itself activates the crown chakra. Okay, that's pretty straightforward actually. That's the reason why the crown chakra is described as thousandfold, because it's connected to the thousandfold or 1,000 different forms of expressions of the universe or of the divine energies. And when you say 1,000 forms, what you really mean is limitless in actual fact. It's just described as 1,000, but what it actually means is the limitless universal expressions of divinity. That's what it means. Okay. So the third eye, no guess which deity rules the third eye, which is Lord Shiva himself. Okay. If you want to strengthen the third eye, then meditate upon Lord Shiva, any one of his mantras, or observe on Mondays. It's really good for Lord Shiva. Okay, if you want to activate third eye. If you want to activate throat chakra, it is Sri Krishna, believe it or not, but it is, because Sri Krishna rules sound. Think about the flute and think about when he originally played the flute and he played the Gayatri mantra and created the entire universe. Well, that's what the Vedas say. But he is, in my experience, actually let me talk from my experience actually, right? Now I'm saying that was in the Vedas, but let me rather speak from my experience, because I just feel more authentic when I'm talking about what I experienced. So in my experience, when as a speaker and as a teacher and even as a writer, I went through very deep integration, especially my masculine side, with the throat chakra, because I found my masculine was blocked in the throat chakra, connected to a lot of conditions and growing up in a household perhaps where the masculine was not very expressive. So my inner masculine as well had a lot of issues around the throat chakra. So when I started working through the throat chakra, I found that on my feminine side, throat chakra was very expressive, but on the masculine side, not so much. It was actually very submissive and quiet and avoided conflict and did not always connect to his emotions. Okay, and then what happened with the throat chakra there is that the feminine side started to overcompensate, which means the feminine started to talk more than she should have been speaking. So as a feminine, as embodied feminine, I was always speaking and expressing myself, but often feeling like I had to do it for the masculine as well, because he was extremely quiet. Okay, but when I started working through the throat chakra, I was directed to work with Sri Krishna to activate the throat chakra, and I found that with his guidance, there was, like, I realized through working with Sri Krishna and his guidance, is that everything that we are told, right, everything that we speak has been fed to us. There's nothing that you speak that is yours. Nothing. You may think that you have your own thoughts and your own, and this is how you feel, and this is your own opinion. You don't have any of that. Everything that you speak about, what you think about, how you think about it, and what you say to yourself, whether it's your internal voice or what you speak out loud, is all something somebody told you or was passed down to you at some point through some medium. Okay, that's it. So when you work with the throat chakra, the deepest, in the deepest, through the most deepest work of the throat chakra, is to come to the understanding and the realization that everything that you say you have been handed down to, and then you have to filter. Your job is to filter and recheck and for yourself, fact check what it is that you've been told versus um, what is true to you. But that, when you get to throat chakra activation like that, you really have to be really connected in your crown chakra. You have to, your third eye has to be completely activated, opened. Your heart chakra has to be opened. Your intuition has to be very strong, because you need to filter and differentiate between what is, what was given to you, and what is true for you, for your own nature, and what you choose as your truth. What is your real truth about anything? Okay, so anything and everything, whether it is about yourself and how you see yourself, or whether you how you see the world, or and every perception and belief you possibly could hold. So that is throat chakra, because everything we speak creates, our sound creates everything in our life, whether we're conscious of it or not. And when the sound becomes completely cleared, right, and goes through this deep integration, then your sound becomes so powerful and so high vibrational that everything you say, everything you want to create, becomes like magic. It becomes easy, because there is nothing, there is I like to describe it this way: there's no one talking in your ear, because let's just say your parents told you something when you were little about your body, for example, and then in your internal voice, you're somewhere in the back of your mind, every time you look at your body, that kind of voice is always there. And that's your throat chakra. It's connected to your throat chakra, because that is a speaking voice. Sometimes we need to realize that speaking voice and throat chakra is not only about external expression, it's also about the internal voice as well, and listening as well. Okay, so the so Sri Krishna is really, really good with clearing the voice and all the illusions that we are created, and the things that we are telling ourselves, and everything we are creating through sound vibration. Shri Krishna is really good for that. So I'm going to go to the next video and go to the next chakra, which is going to be the heart chakra. So let's just go there.